That's where I was really encouraged with watching Rodgers.
Well, this is what we know. If Aaron Rodgers plays for the Steelers, they will barely make the playoffs and be eliminated early on. If he does not play for the Steelers, they will barely make the playoffs and be eliminated.
Well, looky what we have here. Yo, what's up? It's Chris Simms. It's Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Ahmed Fareed is here. It's a Monday. Yes, it's coming to an end. This is our last week of work, or at least my last week of work. And we are getting done, and we are making our way up the Chris Simms pyramid, triangle, whatever the hell you want to call it. All right. And he's back.
He's back.
He is back, Mr. Aaron Rodgers. So we'll hit on that, too. But what's up, man? How's everything going?
Good to see you. We'll fly. This is going to be a shorter podcast because we're actually doing two to take you behind the curtain. Two today. We'll release one on Monday, one on Tuesday. We got 10 through
5 is what we decided
today,
we're going to do today.
And then the final 4 are coming up on Tuesday.
Right.
So it'll be 2 shorter pods, but it's double the pods.
Double
so really
the
it's like a longer, if you were to combine it into one pod, it'd be longer one, but shorter 2 here.
Double the pods. I'm going to Atlanta to interview Michael Penix. That'll be good. We're going to do that for the podcast. I think maybe for Sunday Night Football. We'll see where that goes. So, hey, last week of work here. They're going to make sure they get every bit of content out of me that they can possibly get here. All right. But this is, to me, like one of the funnest days. I will say that. When we get to the top 10, I enjoy talking about these guys usually the most. Why? Because they're the most talented. Honestly, you saw my text last night. The top 10 might be the most confident I'm in all areas.
Yeah.
You know, again, maybe because I see these guys more, I watch them more during the season. I feel like I got a great feel for all of them, really, right? So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, as we expected, Aaron Rodgers back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Knew it was going to happen. As you've heard me say, I've said it to Florio, all that. Had too many people around the situation with the Steelers that led me to believe it was going to happen. It wasn't a matter of like, you know, if. It was just all about when. And I don't know if they expected him there for training camp. As I told you before the show, I think there was a thought. They thought, well, maybe he's just going to be training camp, right? They weren't sure. Personal life stuff, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there he is, number 8, Pittsburgh Steelers. And yeah, I know you made your joke about one and done and all of that.
Yeah, it's
no,
official.
I think he does give them a chance here to be better than a one and done football team. And I do like watching Aaron Rodgers. You know he's one of my favorites. And in his prime, I don't know if there was a better quarterback I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, he's controversial the last few years. There's definitely been days where I'm like, oh, my God, I can't believe I have to go in here and talk about Aaron Rodgers again, right? But he does make football better. The way he played at the end of last year was encouraging to me because he played more to win instead of just playing not to lose, and that's a big thing in this league. And I think that does give Pittsburgh something to build around as long as he continues to be aggressive like we saw at the end of the year. So that's where I'm pumped. And then you get to see Aaron Rodgers versus Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, right? 4 times a year in that division. I mean, that's going to be incredible to watch. So, yeah, I'm pumped for it, and it's good for football that he's with the Steelers.
There's a lot of good games, too. Green Bay Packers come to Pittsburgh week number 8. I think they got the Chicago Bears. See if he continues to own them.
He's got the NFC North, so he's going to get all of that. He's going to get the Vikings over in Dublin, I believe, in Ireland, where he played the Vikings last year in London as a member of the Jets. He opens up the year at the Jets, where he is going to get booed so hard that the stadium's going to shake, right? There's going to be an earthquake in the area because even though the Jets cut him and all that, just the fact that it didn't go well and everything, the Jets fans will boo him off the field. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, he's going to have a chance here. It's setting up for him to have a little bit of a revenge tour. Beat his Packers, beat the Jets, right? Beat the Bears maybe one more time. Show the NFC North, hey, I'm still the king even though I'm not here anymore. And then get to, match up with some of the young studs as far as Lamar, Joe Burrow is concerned in the AFC. And I've had I talked about this before the other day because people were like, well, I don't know. Do they even want Aaron Rodgers? And I'm like, yeah, they want Aaron Rodgers. Sorry. Yeah, they do. Yes. We've talked about this at length. Mason Rudolph, you have to game plan and manage around him to make that work. Rodgers gives them a real fighter's chance against really good teams to maybe keep pace on the offensive side of the ball. So that's where, I'm pumped for him there. And the schedule's somewhat favorable there.
That's a 1 o'clock game to start off, too, so a good game to start off on Sunday there, 1 o'clock. And say what you will about Aaron Rodgers, he's a prideful human being that wants his legacy to end on a high note.
Definitely.
So it's like all the off-the-field stuff, distracted, does he care? He wants to go out there and finish his career on a high note here.
Yeah, I agreed there. This is a guy that's prideful. He's still got talent, like we talked about in the last pod when we went through it there. And I do think we'll get into a year here now where he's adjusted to how he has to play, with the fact that, he's not as athletic, only 2 years removed from the Achilles tear, all of that. And I think he'll have a better understanding that way. But I am excited. The Steelers, that football team, we know the defense is good. The offensive line has a chance to be damn good as well. They need one more skill guy, in my opinion, to kind of round out the offense. There's not enough. Just Freiermuth and DK Metcalf's not enough. I like Jaylen Warren, right? But who's the other receivers we discussed in the past? Robert Woods, Calvin Austin, like them too, but are they mainstays to where you can just, 70, 80 balls can go their way and they can make some big plays that way? Does Roman Wilson from Michigan step up? Or do they look to make a trade in training camp and try to get a little bit more of a veteran, proven commodity type of player to come in there? I'll be interested to see, but either way, football's better with Aaron Rodgers back on the football field.
As we move on to the tier med, now we are building up to the top point, the number one quarterback this year for you. You had Aaron Rodgers pretty high, higher than I thought he was going to be, higher than probably other people thought out there. He was in the last tiers. We build it brick by brick. There we go. The aliens helping out in the desert. He was in Scheme Dream, which you see is the latest one to be dropped. He was in that tier with Brock Purdy and Jared Goff, who just missed out on the top 10. Just before them was Jordan Love and Kyler Murray, which does take us to the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to go player by player for the top. You haven't really ranked anyone. You haven't revealed your rankings on anyone else.
Right.
Officially.
But we are officially doing this. We know the 10 names.
10.
You should know the 10 names if you're paying attention. But,
Correct.
we're going to go 10 through 5 right here. Official. We tiered them. We did group them together a little bit, some of these guys. Right, but this will be a guy here at number 10 that'll be in a tier by himself and will be fun to break down.
Let's do it. I'll let you announce it. It is your ranking.
Okay, number 10 will be the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, the Super Bowl champ, the Super Bowl MVP. Really kind of an incredible year when you really think about it. The ultimate leader, okay, that's the first thing I'll say. He's tough. He's the same guy all the time. He can handle the Philadelphia criticism, good or bad. He seems to take it all in stride. And he brings a skill set to their offense that makes them almost indefensible with all the talent they have, and then what he brings to the table to kind of put it over the top to where you're just like, oh my God, what do we defend? We're trying to stop Saquon. We're trying to stop the receivers. Oh no. And then he scrambles or he keeps the ball in a quarterback design run, and we have to worry about that too. And it's just too many things to worry about. And that's where he's special for the Philadelphia Eagles and what he brings to the table for that football team. Now, is he perfect? No, he's not. I know that. And that's what we're going to discuss here a little bit. There's things that last year you heard me say, and I had him ranked a few spots higher to where I said, listen, it was a down year, but there was things I liked about how he played in the pocket, the throws he made, the variety of throws he made, which I thought was something that was new 2 years ago when I went, oh, wow, damn, we're seeing more touch, a little more anticipation, all of that. So there was growth in the pocket. This year, again, there was moments of that. Right? And we saw that. And the cool thing is he really saved his best moments for the last 2 games of the year, the 2 most important games of the year. Against the Washington Commanders, NFC Championship game, played his best football maybe there. And then, of course, in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I mean, their mid-second quarter, the start of the game, let alone then mid-second quarter going into the third. He really, and the offense took over and dominated and put the Kansas City Chiefs away. Yeah. But with him saying all that and all his skill set and the leadership and the mental strength and all that, is he perfect? No. There's a reason he's at number 10. And there's still flaws in his football game that need to be addressed, need to be fixed. And, they win the game still with him not playing perfect. And this is where, again, I do the dirty work to go, let me decipher here, right? But there's no quarterback in football that has more advantages on the field at the position than Jalen Hurts.
You called him a super team in the past.
They're a super team, and that's not a shot on him. But he gets the advantages of, yes, having to worry about all these other things, right, and all the greatness of the Philadelphia Eagles. He can not play great and they can still win. He gets a lot of great looks on defenses where I'd go, wait, nobody would ever play this defense against Lamar or Mahomes or anybody like that, right? But you got to take your chances against Philadelphia. You got to put your eggs in one basket to stop something, and that sometimes lends itself to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're playing this pass defense against Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, right? So that's where we got to discuss him a little bit, some of the positives, some of the negatives, and where he can go from here.
Well, that's part of the thing, too, with him, and he has stepped up in the biggest games. Obviously, his numbers in the Super Bowl are awesome.
Pretty incredible.
This tier is called The Truth Hurts, and I think that's applicable to him because it's like, what is the truth? And sometimes the truth is he's carried by his team, and other times he is carrying the Philadelphia Eagles. And so whatever you think about Jalen Hurts, you're probably right at certain points throughout his career and certain points through the year. It's just that it's a fascinating thing to think about. What if he was drafted by the Carolina Panthers back in the day? I mean, what if he was not on this team?
Right.
And so, yes, he is helped by that, but to the same point, it's also like he hasn't always had the opportunity to carry a team, and so it's like you can't necessarily mark him down for that just because he does play on a super team. Perhaps he would be able to show a little bit more with a little less talent.
No, I think well, if you went in and you're making all the right points and leading me in all the right. If you just went purely on passing and throwing, I'd go, well, no, he's below 10. I mean, he's below 10. It's one of the slower releases in all of football. Like, it's not in the top half of football as far as being able to get the ball out of his hands and do that. Arm strength, it's not in the top half of football with arm strength either. Decision-making wouldn't be in the top half of football as far as what he does in the pocket. But the other stuff that he brings to the table and the hanging in the pocket tough, scrambling and making big plays there, making plays on the run with big throws, buying time in the pocket at times, handling pressure not only physically, mentally, all of that, his ability to rise to the occasion in big moments, his ability to not mess up games in big moments. Yeah, those are things that I all take into consideration here. There might be some guys that are better than him or whatever else, but I go, well, they mess up the game in every big moment, and they do things that aren't conducive to winning football. So, yeah, I give a little bit of that. Right? But are there some missed throws on his film? Of course.
There was frustration last year with the Eagles. A.J. Brown, you could tell. There was some frustration.
Well, one of the weaknesses, this is where I get animated about this conversation because we're all in a little bit of like, revisionist history or people of the moment, right? Yeah, I know the last two games were good. We can't forget that like the 10 before that were not good at all. Like, we're the downfall of the football team. So there's got to be a little here to where, like, some people are going to look at this and go, man, this is harsh. He's a little low on Jalen Hurts, right? And I know people are going to say that and understand that. But I think at the same time, right, with some of the play and what he did and everything like that, some of these games were closer, or the ones they lost or letting teams hang around we're like that because Jalen Hurts didn't play great football within the pocket week in, week out throughout long periods of the season. Now, where it gets lost in translation is they win those football games still. So people just forget and they go, oh, they win. But I want to go, wait, let's go back. Like, come on, people who think I'm being a jerk to Jalen Hurts. Let's watch 3 or 4 games in a row. And you'll see, like, oh, my gosh, a lot of completions, a lot of bad reads. What are we doing in the pocket? I'm not sure. What are we looking at? And that's where, right, I'm trying to talk here. There's a middle ground that we can all meet here. There's some people that think he's way too highly overrated, and I would say most of them are outside of football. It's the biggest disconnect between what the public thinks and what the league thinks about a player that I think I've ever come around, right? The public thinks he's one of the 3 or 4 best quarterbacks in football. I would have a hard time, I think, finding coaches in the NFL that would tell you he's a top 10 quarterback. That's what I would tell you, right? You've heard me say this before, where teams, when they play Philadelphia, their goal is to get him to play quarterback. So that tells you something in itself to go, wait, if we don't let him scramble and run and we make him play in the pocket and have to make those type of throws and do all that stuff all the time, we feel like that's our best chance to win a game. That's not the talk of a top 2 or 3 quarterback. You know what I'm saying there? So he does a lot of good stuff, and I think he's still going on an upward trajectory. That's the thing I like about Jalen Hurts, and I know he works and does all the little things off the field to make himself better. But this year, in some ways, I actually looked at it and went, yeah, I don't know if he played as good as he did the year before. I just think the team was better around him, and that allowed him to buy him some time to really show what he had late in the season. And, of course, he played his best football then.
He was 9 in the countdown last year for you, so it does drop down a spot, but he's top 10 for the third year in a row for you. Last thing, what do you think Kevin Patullo, he's the pass game coordinator the past 4 seasons, now the offensive coordinator. A.J. Brown told LaShawn McCoy on FS1 a couple weeks ago, the offense is really the offense. They don't care who the coordinator is. You come over here and you fit the Jalen Hurts offense. That's what it is.
That's what it is. It's the Jalen Hurts offense. You've heard me say that too before. He's kind of just, I think he's told I know. He's told the organization this is what he wants to do, and they just go, okay, right? So part of their simpleness on offense is also Jalen Hurts doing. All right, there is some of that there. You can look at it and go, wow, they don't do a whole lot, but okay, it's got to be somewhat of what he wants there. The formula is tried and true. It's simple. They don't need to change a whole lot. We've seen. I mean, as long as he just hits open receivers and doesn't turn it over, they're tough to beat. Because Saquon's going to run for 100. He's going to make a few plays off schedule that are going to break your back at times. And then we know A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, you get them the ball in space, they're going to make some plays that are above and beyond what's expected in the playbook there. So he's a winner, and I know that. He's been a winner. Yep. He's tough. He battles all of that. Yes, sure. But as you saw, we went through a stretch here this year. And it's rare to see a Super Bowl team with a quarterback who played the good as he did those last 2 games, but a team that won the Super Bowl to have the type of quarterback play that they had from him in the middle part of the year. Yeah, it is shocking. I'm not going to paraphrase here, but I mean, I'm going to throw Devin McCourty into the mix a little bit. Okay. I remember him watching film during the year, and he was like, man, yeah, damn, watching Philly's pass offense, it's tough. Right? It's a little all over the place. Mm-hmm. He was inconsistent with decisions and throws and what he did in the pocket and all of that. You heard A.J. Brown at one point, like, what's the problem with the team? The passing offense. Mm-hmm. Boom. Right? So there was issues there, but they worked through it, and we'll see. Maybe it takes off to another level this year with another year of comfort in the offense, being the man in Philadelphia, and having the pressure of I won the Super Bowl, and there's pressure to be taken off just because of that.
Some mean things have been said about Jalen Hurts in the past, but on this podcast, the meanest thing was said by Devin McCourty. So just remember that, everyone out there that wants to get the Twitter.
I was like reluctant to throw that out there because I'm just trying to give backings again. At times, you can go, and when it comes to the Eagles, right, they can win 4. We've had these conversations too, even in like Brady in his last year in New England, where the team might win 4 in a row. But it doesn't mean the quarterback play was like, oh my gosh, stellar, unbelievable. But when the season's over and we look at the record 14-3, we just kind of go, oh, no, it was better. It was good. It was good. And I was like, no. We're forgetting about what we were talking about during the season. And all I'm just trying to say is, yes, to give another name of a guy that I know watches film. He knows good quarterback play. And, I'm throwing him under the bus a little bit so he can help me out on Twitter to back me up a little bit.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to do Rutgers basketball and be like, I think they're playing really well. But, Devin McCourty says the coaching stinks right here, just to throw him under the bus. All right, and he squats 600 pounds, which I think seems to be part of the evaluation as well.
His running is a part of the evaluation, like I told you. Well, all of it. What he brings to the table in that aspect has to be taken into account on where he's ranked. And the fact that one of the reasons they can run an offense that's kind of simple the way it is because of his running ability. Sure. That little extra added incentive is just enough of a schematical advantage that it really puts defenses in a bind to go, I don't know what to stop here, right? Right, so that's the big thing. But he is clutch. He's got ice water in his veins, no doubt about that. But he does miss too many throws. There's too many plays left on the field, yards, points, whatever, throughout the year this year. They played too many games that you go, oh, that was probably closer than it needed to be, and that was because the quarterback play, the passing offense just was not hitting on all cylinders.
Good enough to be in the top 10, but on notice in the year that they're trying to back up the Super Bowl. We got to take a break. When we come back, we continue up the tier, Ahmed. We go 9, 8, and I believe 7. Oh, no, 9 and 8. 9 and 8 next is all I'm going to promise. That's coming up next. DraftKings with the latest odds to win the NFC Championship. The Eagles, the favorite, plus 300. My Detroit Lions, second to them. The Commanders with Jayden Daniels. 49ers still up there, though.
Incredible.
Tied with the Packers at plus 1,000.
Ahead of the Rams. I'm still just amazed by that. That continues to hold strong. Now, I know the 49ers got a pretty favorable schedule, and they are going to be better than what I expect, but to have them above the Rams, I just would never do. There's no way I would do that right now. I understand the rest of that list. That's a pretty damn good list. But the Rams, as it looks right now, would be the team that I would say bet on them. They got the best value. If you got some extra dollars, we all know the Eagles and the Lions are going to be in this conversation. The Rams are the team that I think are in that conversation with those two teams. We'll see about the Packers. I think there are that type of quality. That's going to be interesting too. Tampa Bay, we know they got the pieces as well. Does somebody else jump up there? I'll tell you this. I am one that I'm not sure if I am I'm bullish on the Rams being a value bet. The Commanders are a team where there's a part of me that's a little bit like, could you see a fall off from the Commanders? And I would go, yeah, I could. You know, that sophomore letdown, quarterback, coach, everybody involved, right? So I could see that. Also, like the Commanders had 3 shamrocks up their ass last year. The year broke for them almost every which way perfectly it could have, right? If you really break it down. Like Malik Neighbors week 2, he catches the ball, they lose, the game's over. The Bengals are stumbling all over themselves. They get to steal that one on the road in Cincinnati early in the year, right? There was that. The Bears Hail Mary game for sure. There's even more that I'm missing out. I mean, the Saints game was a little bit of a miracle. Jalen Hurts gets hurt late in the year in a game where it looked like the Philadelphia Eagles were about to dominate and blow them, and then he gets the concussion, blow them out, not blow them. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That'd be a whole different game there. But hello and welcome back to Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
DraftKings Sportsbook is your home for live betting, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Just download the app and use promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up.
DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. We're gonna move on.
It's kind of when you lose your shit. That's when I know it's a funny one there.
Yeah.
It came out of my mouth, and I was literally like, "Wait, something didn't come out right." And I saw your face, and I was like, "Wow, I did just say that."
We're already up against it here, time-wise, trying to get through as much as it. So we just got to move on. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. We have to move on. Pete has saved us here with a nugget, so thank God. Only 2 NFC teams have made the playoffs each of the last 4 seasons. The Eagles, the team we just talked about, and the team with our next quarterback in the countdown. Thank God we're moving on. This is number 9. As high as he has ever been in the ranking for Chris Simms here.
Oh, baby. That's right. Here he is. Yo ho, the Pirates' life for me. Baker Mayfield. And coming off that, we are in the Pocket Rocket stage, too?
Yeah,
damn, we just keep adding to this.
This is a problem. Yeah, this is Pocket Rockets, which we looked back at the origination of that term.
Yes.
Was also a small car with a big engine.
Right. Yes, very good. Along with maybe some other meanings as well. But our meaning was football based, okay?
Yes.
And we are at a tier here with Baker Mayfield because, yes, he's a pocket passer with a rocket arm, and he's about as aggressive as there are as a quarterback in football right now. Throwing the ball down the field, highlight type of throws, nothing even close to a dink and dunk quarterback. That's what's awesome about Baker Mayfield. Sees the field really well, and for a guy that's not real big, the ability to hang in the pocket and throw high-level down-the-field type of throws with ease is as impressive as it gets. I like watching Baker Mayfield play. There's no doubt about that. He's got some different arm angles, okay? He's got every type of club you need in the world as a thrower. He can do all of that. Are there times where I think he reaches back and throws it too hard or reaches back for more and loses control of the football? I think I've said that in years past. I still think that happens to him from time to time, okay? But all in all, this is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in the game right now because of the mindset, because of I'm going to stay in the pocket and I'm going to look to strike downfield to Chris Godwin or Mike Evans. That's the big thing. And then the offense around him does fit his skill set. And that's why you like watching Baker Mayfield. But, hey, what he's done on the heels of Tom Brady and taking over, and they were supposed to fall off, and, of course, that year he had where he was on the Panthers and then the Rams and all of that, to get to Tampa and just basically take over that organization and be the man, I think it just speaks not only to the talent he has, but to the man. And, again, here's another guy that we just talked about, Jalen Hurts, where I take this into account. Leadership, his toughness, his grit, the things he does on the field, it energizes the football team, and there's something to that, too, that Baker Mayfield has great magic in that department.
I mean, I said this last year about Baker Mayfield. If you took the 10 plays in the NFL last year, they were like, "Whoa, wow! I can't believe that happened." I think Baker Mayfield's got as many as any player out there. Lamar Jackson's up there, but I think Baker, he makes some plays. We're like, I can't believe he just made that.
Definitely.
Play.
I mean, he had a few of those scrambles during late in the year where he bounced off people and got up and went crazy. Where you went, "Oh my gosh, what a way to jumpstart your football team."
Yeah.
Also, I don't think you're far off from what you're saying. If you went in the pocket with wow throws, and said, "Let me see some of the best 20-plus throws of the year in the NFL," Baker Mayfield would have a ton of them. That's what's awesome. Now, that's also sometimes his negative. Sometimes he just can't get off that guy.
So 16 interceptions last season, tied for the most in the NFL with Kirk Cousins.
That's sometimes his problem. It's just over-aggressive. Like we know from all big-arm quarterbacks, that first read. Wait, he was open in practice all week. He's going to be open. Let me pat the ball. He's about to come open. I want to throw my rocket in there. No, he's not going to be open. Get out. Get off of it. Or don't try to just force it in because he was open all week in practice. That's where you get into Baker Mayfield's a little bit of his negatives, right? He is a smaller quarterback. We talk about this all the time. Size is a skill. So I think, too, there's times where, yes, maybe he can't see or throw over people the right way, but he's still kind of aggressive in doing that. So I think that can lend itself to some of the negative plays from Baker Mayfield. But the negative plays I always see from him are usually from the over-aggressive nature of hanging on a guy too long, or I'm in the pocket, I buy time, I'm patient as hell in the pocket with people around me for a smaller quarterback. That's what's impressive about him. But then going, "Oh, wait, the pocket's closing in. Let me see if I can fit it in there." And it's just like, don't fit it in there. There's nowhere to fit that. There's 3 defenders, right? That's kind of his like kryptonite of his game right now, but you'll take that when he's making the amount of big-time plays he's making right now.
Good weapons, too. They got Chris Godwin, of course, Mike Evans, of course, but then Emeka Egbuka, who you were lower on, but lower on is like you don't expect him to be a number 1, and he doesn't need to be with them. He can be a number 3.
No, exactly. Either way, I know he can play and play in the NFL for sure. And let me just say, like, you talk about the weapons, and they're good, but here's one where like I'd go, no. The quarterback's making the weapons look a little more weaponry than the weapons are making the quarterback look awesome right now. Okay, Mike Evans is damn good, don't get me wrong, but is he the Mike Evans 4 or 5 years ago that could just run by anybody in the league whenever he wants? No. Chris Godwin, hey, he's still damn good, but damn, he didn't play half the year last year anyways, right? They had to rely on Cade Otton, the run game, some other guys in the pass game to help them. And what happened when they did that? Nothing. The offense kept going because the big guy at quarterback, who's not so big, but you can't tell him that because I think he thinks he's 6'5", 255 the way he plays, right? He leads them. And he leads them with a fire and a chip on his shoulder that is fun to watch. But, yeah, Baker Mayfield, definitely one of the most explosive arms in the game, definitely deserves the respect to be called a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now.
And a pocket rocket in a tier of 2 with your number 8 quarterback for 2025.
And that is Justin Herbert. Yeah, Justin Herbert. He takes some bad flack. He's like the opposite of like almost what we talked about with Jalen Hurts. People just get to the last game of the year and they go, "Oh no, that playoff game wasn't good. Is he really that good? I'm not sure what he is anymore," right? It's like, no, he's arguably the best. I mean, he's in the conversation for best pure pocket passer in the game. That's what you look at him. If things are all equal, the pocket's fine, and somebody's open, and you need to hit a 25-yard throw and put it on the money, Justin Herbert is in the short list of quarterbacks you're going to take in the NFL to go, he'll hit that more times than not. with people around him in the pocket throwing over them. He'll hit it way more times than not. That's where he's amazing. We just talked about size, his skill. He maybe plays bigger than any quarterback in the sport. People dragging on him, grabbing his shoulder, doesn't affect him, still throws it 25 yards down the field. People all around him can't step into the throw, doesn't matter, can raise his arm up, and a big enough, strong enough guy to still go, damn, he still hit Quentin Johnston down the middle, even though he couldn't really get his body into the throw for a 35-yard gain. That's where he's good. He can run, right? He can run. But this leads us into the negative. He doesn't do it enough. He is awesome when things are clean, when the pocket, okay, I'm here, blah, 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 right? Everything's good. When I can be technically sound in my delivery, boom, I'm amazing. But he's a guy, and I think I said this last year, and I'll say it again, but it just jumps off the screen when you watch it. Backyard football part of the game has to improve. This is not 1988 anymore. You can't just say, I'm going to be a pocket passer all day long. Some teams, you have to have the perfect team to do that, and they're not that. At this day and age, where we are, 2025, movement is a necessity. It's a necessity, and he can do it. He just doesn't do it enough. It's like the running quarterback where you go, hey, he's run his whole life, so why he looks at the first read and then he runs, right? Why? Nothing else. Well, he's like the opposite. He's like, wait, I just stand in here my whole life, and you give me enough time, I'm going to make the throw. And it's like, no, not with your receivers. They don't always separate no matter how much time you give them. And this is the NFL. And it's sometimes these guys aren't going to come open. You got to create it yourself a little bit. And that's, to me, you saw better last year than the year before, but still untapped potential there of the backyard, get out of the pocket more, make more plays happen off schedule, make more throws, sidearm, off platform, like we see the top guys do, game in and game out. That, to me, is the little departments there that Justin Herbert is not quite as good as some of the top quarterbacks in the game right now.
Yeah, 69 times he ran the ball, which was a career high, but just by a couple of attempts right there. 306 yards rushing last season, both career highs. But you'd like to see a little bit more, especially when he's taking a little bit of a backseat to the running game in the Jim Harbaugh style football.
That's right.
I think he threw for, almost 1,000 less yards,
yes,
or fewer yards than the last time he played 17 games. And so he's asked to do something differently in this offense than he was previously.
He's being asked to play like a Troy Aikman style of football, which people always go like, well, okay, yeah. It's not easy to play that way. We just had this conversation last week, right? Or maybe the week before. I mean, when you have to go run the ball, and then it's like, hey, it's 3rd and 12. Can you make an awesome throw and bail us out now for our shitty run game? That's not easy. Like, oh, yeah, no problem, coach. I haven't thrown the ball in 7 minutes, but now in the biggest part of the game, you want me to throw without giving me like any confidence or feel or whatever. That's not always the easiest way to play the position. He does it. And he does it really well. And like you talked about, too, it's not incredible talent around him in the pass game that people are just open. It's still a work in progress. So this is a guy that he has the talent, as you know, to be above this. And another thing he took in the positive area is leadership. That is something you could see on film. I knew it just watching on TV last year, but Jim Harbaugh brought out the edge in him a little bit. You could see him yell at guys. He was directing traffic more on film, right? You could see more emotion when things went good. You could see him run over to an offensive lineman after a big play and like get in their face and be like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? So those are things where I felt like he needed to improve. He's got to continue to impose his personality and leadership on that football team. He's the guy. He's the man. They don't have that personality out there right now to where he can just go, let this guy lead and I'll take a back seat. I think Harbaugh wants him to be that guy, and I think he's becoming that guy. Right now, it's just about he's got to be a little bit better in the clutch moments, the big moments, and the off-schedule moments, like I've said. Right. He does that type of stuff. He's the kind of guy that could be in the top 5, top 6 conversation for the next 4 or 5 years.
So you need more around him. So Ladd McConkey had a great freshman, rookie season last year. They got Quentin Johnston. They got Mike Williams back. Trey Harris you liked a lot, so they drafted him in the second round.
Yep.
But you think that's enough around support?
I think it's enough, and I think when you add that to Omarion Hampton, Hampton at running back, right? That's where you go, oh, okay, they got a running back now that's going to be a game changer, so that's going to help the pass game out. And then you get Trey Harris and another year with Ladd McConkey, and I do think Quentin Johnston's going in the right direction to where you go, okay, I think that's enough. But last year in his defense, no, there was a lot of games where you're like, damn, this ain't enough. He's got to make one big-time throw after another, or they have to manage the game in such a way to where it's like, all right, we're not going to score a lot of points today. We're going to play defense, and you're just going to have to make a handful of, like, game-changing throws. And that's what happened. I feel bad watching back the wild card game to the Texans. He made some game-changing throws and some things early on in the game where they should have been up. They blew opportunities to be blowing the Texans out. They let the Texans hang around, and then the Texans took advantage of the momentum and never looked back. But, yeah, Justin Herbert is no question one of the best quarterbacks in football. There is still untapped potential, and I think between that coach and them accumulating talent there, we're going upwards here. We're going upwards.
Yeah.
Now, where he climbs, I don't know, because there's some guys in front of him that are damn good, we know, and we're going to hit on them here in a few minutes.
All right, so, yeah, he was 3 a couple years ago for you, 4, and then 6, and now 8. So he is gone. While his play might be going in the upward direction, still you see some positive things. He's been going down in the Simms rankings here, so we'll see.
It's the stuff we're talking about, right? Yeah. Some of the guys in front of him, the magic moments, the backyard plays, the big moments always come up in those moments with something clutch, something special to help their team. I feel like that's where maybe Justin Herbert, the backyard stuff like I talked about is just not quite on par with some of the guys we're going to hit on here today and tomorrow.
Speaking of those guys, we're hitting on today 3 more to talk about in this show. We'll talk about them coming up next. The final 3 quarterbacks today, 7, 6, and 5, all in the same tier. That is Surgicality, beginning, Chris, with your number 7 quarterback, that man right there.
Who also wears number 7 on the football field. I did not mean to do that. I'm not that smart. But C.J. Stroud, yes, number 7. C.J. Stroud, I love watching C.J. Stroud play. He's one of the most pure throwers in the sport. Right? We talked about with Justin Herbert a minute ago. When you talk about like a short list of guys in the pocket, you got to hit a bullseye in a big moment. C.J. Stroud would be in that discussion too, as far as that guy. He makes some of the damnedest throws as far as accuracy-wise that you'll see out of anybody on the whole list. I mean, the ability to drop back, oh, man, there's somebody in his face, and he hits a 25-yard crosser where it looks like he barely got his feet set, he barely got to see the guy, and he just drops it in there, like, perfectly. It's incredible the way he plays that way, okay? I know some people might go, oh, it's a step back for C.J. Stroud this year as compared to year 1.
Yeah.
I would say no.
The numbers say that.
Yeah.
The team stats say that.
Right.
The team performance says that.
Right.
The film does not say that.
It does not say that. A lot of the film and the negative is not C.J. Stroud. I go, no, it's the Houston Texans. He can't block them. He can't get open for them. He can't call another play where it's like, wait, we can't block, so now we're sending. Remember, we had this conversation during the season. Wait, we can't block anybody, so we're keeping everybody in the block, so now we only have 2 or 3 people going out and routes downfield. Oh, and that's right, Nico Collins is hurt, and Stephon Diggs is not playing. So who's getting open? Oh, hey, we got Tank Dell. Okay, yeah, but he's about to get hurt too, so then what are we going to do there? I mean, so that's where we all threw it on C.J. Stroud for the step back, and I'd go, it was anything but that. Was he perfect? No. Did he have some down moments? Sure, he did. But I think a lot of those down moments were more about like, oh, no, the team's not playing well. We're not doing well on offense. I'm going to try to force something or make something happen, right? Or I'm under pressure and I'm trying to make big throws down the football field regardless of what I'm under and who's hitting me and who's open and not open. So that's what you look at. But I watch him and I go, I have no problem with his decision-making. His decision-making is really good. His ability to replicate his throwing motion, I would say him and Joe Burrow are the best in football at that. It's just being machines, and mechanically, throw after throw after throw after throw. Yeah, he is one of the most skilled throwers, passers in the group. He might not have as strong an arm as Justin Herbert or Baker Mayfield or a Lamar or a Mahomes, but it's plenty strong, okay? But it's the pinpoint accuracy and then all the versatility in the throws he has off that. It's, yeah, he could drive the ball. It might not be a 102-mile-per-hour fastball, but it's like a 99. And then his ability to touch and drop balls into buckets or over defenders just into the lap of his wide receivers, it's as good as it gets in the business. There's nobody better than that. Quick game, precision, hitting people on the run, putting it into tight windows. I mean, he's a machine that way. So that's where I love C.J. Stroud. And then the athletic ability on top of that is better than what he gets credit for. He makes a lot of people miss in the pocket. He bought himself a lot of extra time. Could he maybe become a better runner and a better scrambler outside? Yeah, I think those are still parts of his game that he can maybe expand. But all in all, it's all on the up and up. And I think way too much of the negatives of the Houston Texans got put on C.J. Stroud last year. He is one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's one of the best throwers in football. He's one of the best passers in football. He's one of the best decision makers in football. And he's clutch as hell. And the team believes in him. He's one of those guys. He's rare. He's rare. I love watching C.J. Stroud. I think this year will be better than any year he's had in his career to this point.
Seems like a student of the game.
Right.
Gym rat, loves football, and so any perceived step back last year, it seems like that's just going to probably drive him even more this year. And so, they have rebuilt the left side of that line. You got Cam Robinson, Laken Tomlinson there, so they're trying to protect him a little bit more. And they drafted those two Iowa State wide receivers. You like them both, Jayden Higgins and Jalen Noel, and you got Christian Kirk there as well. So Nico Collins back, hopefully, 100%.
That's
full
right.
season.
Like Nico Collins, I don't know if he was ever totally 100% last year. When he got back from the hamstring, I know we talked here on the pod. I don't think he was all like totally 3 rockets up his ass again, right? Like hitting on all cylinders that way. I think there was a little management there. And then like we talked, like you're saying, Tank Dell got hurt late in the year. Okay, but before that, it was a lot of weeks where it's like, wow, he's got to depend on Dalton Schultz and Tank Dell here to get through the football game and the run game and do that type of stuff. There's a reason they fired their offensive coordinator after going to the playoffs 2 years in a row. There's a reason they've totally said, the hell with our offensive line after going to the playoffs 2 years in a row. They're telling you without telling you the problems were the team were not C.J. Stroud. It was our pass protection scheme and our offensive line. And that's what they had to fix. And C.J. Stroud, the Texans, I will not be shocked if they're in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, that's a team that might have the best defense in the NFL. And if they take a step forward in an offense, watch out. Los Angeles Rams have a pretty good defense as well.
They
got
do.
a guy leading the charge. Your number 6 quarterback is?
Oh, Matthew Stafford, the old gunslinger himself. That's right. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. A lot like a C.J. Stroud in a lot of ways, just a little more experience, a little more versatility in the throws, a little bit maybe just because of that experience, knowing where and how to get the ball out of his hands when nobody blocks for him too, like in a C.J. Stroud play like we're talking about. That's the amazing thing about Matthew Stafford. I mean, I say this every year. It's one of the most gifted arms in the history of football. It's a Hall of Fame arm. It's special. It is. Now, he can't move all that well, and that's a problem, and that's probably why he's not ranked a little bit higher. In fact, the guy that we have ranked in front of Stroud and Matthew Stafford is going to be because it was so close, but his movement led me to make him 5 and keep these guys at 6 and 7, right? Yes, Stafford moves a little less than what you would want a quarterback in 2025. That's for sure. But he makes up with it in different ways, okay? And how he does that is he just always knows where to go with the ball, like we talked about with some other quarterbacks in this whole process too, right? A quarterback's got to go to the line of scrimmage with a plan in his head. Like, man, if they caught me by surprise with a blitz and I don't have it picked up, where's my get out of jail throw, right? Where's my fail safe option where if all hell breaks loose, I know I can get the ball here and not take a negative play for the offense. Stafford's always got that. He's incredible for that. So this is a guy that can't really move, but he does an incredible job of not taking unnecessary sacks. And how many plays he makes where you go, oh my gosh, everybody else in football is getting sacked here, except like he's getting hit. There's a guy running a curl route 25 yards down the field. He's only at 18 yards. He's like literally just still running straight. Stafford's getting hit, and he can like, okay, I know where he's going to put the brakes on. I know where he's going to turn to get the ball. I'm going to throw a floater as I'm getting hit because this guy still got 7 more yards to run straight before he even turns around, to where I'll just float it right in the spot. And when he turns around, the ball's going to just hit him in the face. Do you know how many? You see that every game with Matthew Stafford, let alone the amount of throws, again, where I don't think TV does it justice in throws he makes where you go, that's incredible. He saw that. That's incredible. He got that in that window right there. Whether it's arm strength or throwing it sidearm between his guard and his tackle or a no-look throw, which Pete is saying in my ear. Exactly. He gets so many throws and yards in the pocket where you go, man, there's nothing there. There's nobody open. Holy crap. He still kind of made it happen with just an unreal type of pass from the pocket. And that's where he's next level. He's a gunslinger. He's aggressive. He's scary. He's a good decision maker. He's tough as hell. He's probably really maybe warrants a higher ranking than this, but the lack of mobility and the fact that, hey, injury prone, I got to take those things into account a little bit too, and that's why he's number 7, but I love watching Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, turned 37 in February, and so getting on the other side of it for sure at the age when a lot of quarterbacks have already been watching for a couple of years now. And so, and there was a little song and dance in the offseason with him and the Rams. He wanted a little more money, and then they were like, all right, go play for the Giants then. He was like, oh, forget that. I'm back. And he did get a little more money, but
He did. But to your point and what you're saying there, first off, it showed you what the league thought of him. That this is the second time trades come up with Matthew Stafford and the league's like, oh shit, we want him. I mean, the first time around, everybody tried to get in on it late to get Matthew Stafford when he went to the Rams, but we know that was kind of a home cooked deal between the Lions and the Rams. This time around, I mean, the Giants, the Raiders, the Steelers, they were all in on Matthew Stafford because you turn on the film and you just go, wow. Yeah, they want him more than Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah. Which is crazy. And, yes, the Rams are damn good as long as he stays healthy, just like we talked about with the team a minute ago, and they start off the season against each other, Rams and Texans. That could be a Super Bowl showdown. They have that capability.
Last thing on him, what do you think about Devontae Adams replacing Cooper Kupp?
I think it's going to be perfect. I think it's an upgrade. I love Cooper Kupp, but, yes, where he's at in his career, I would rather have Devontae Adams right now. Devontae Adams can run by you down the field, and then as we know, they put great value into route running here in L.A. And all these option routes and read the coverage on the run and make the appropriate cut that McVay has in the offense, they're handmade for Devontae Adams. They're going to be a handful to defend between Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams and Kyron Williams at running and that O-line, which continues to get better. Yeah, Rams are a Super Bowl contender football team, especially with that guy at quarterback.
As Chris has said, if you got a couple bucks burning a hole in your pocket, who knows? Maybe they're
that's
a Super Bowl contending team. Chris thinks that this other team might take a step back. Not because of the quarterback, though, who you're very high on. Your number 5 quarterback is?
Jayden Daniels. Can you believe I'm saying that? It's 1 year in the NFL, the top 5 quarterback in the game. But first off, that's why we're calling this tier what we're calling it, the Surgicality tier. Because it's 3 guys in a row where I'd go, they just don't miss throws. That's the one thing, going back and watching them again this weekend, where you just go, holy crap. Can anybody? Your defense can't get off the field against these guys unless you do something remarkable, right? And even in remarkable, Stafford, Stroud, they always hit a guy that's covered, blah, blah, blah. Okay, this guy's got one other angle. Oh, wait, nobody's open, bad pass protection. Oh, that's right, I run 4-4. I can run around the edge and run for 70 yards up the sidelines. But yes, these are 3 quarterbacks that are incredible in the pocket. It's just one great decision after another. I can't get over all the great decisions from Jayden Daniels. He played the game like he was a fifth-year veteran this year. That's what you go through the year and you watch good games and bad games. You go, man, the bad games they're kind of good. They're still not bad. He did all the right things. He made all the right reads. He made no mistakes. Let alone there was a lot of plays, even in the bad games, where you go, well, nothing's there, and they still make something happen because of his ability to run. His size, we worried about his skinny nature, right? Okay, I still worry about that a little bit. But also, because he's so damn long and tall, man, he throws under pressure and over the line of scrimmage more than I even thought thinking back about last year. That pops out a lot. But, man, just to know where to go with the football, never miss the target, never chase pipe dreams, right? As we talked about another rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams where he wanted more. I want sexy. I want a bigger play, blah, blah, blah. Jayden Daniels is just like, hey, 5 yards, boom, I'll hit it. I'll bore you to death. I'll just a bunch of little tiny cuts because I'm the surgeon until this thing just opens up. And then all of a sudden it's like, watch out, here I come. But incredible that way. and he's got great touch. If there's negatives about his game, here would be the negatives a little bit. Yes, maybe the skinniness of the frame. He doesn't throw off platform a whole lot, right? He could throw off his back foot and do all of that, but you're not, your mental image of Jayden Daniels isn't sidearm, like do stuff like that, right? That's another area I think he can improve on a little bit. And I'll say this too. I think he could work on getting his arm just a hair stronger. There's a few throws during the year where I'd go, no, CJ Stroud or Matt Stafford, they'd have fit that ball into that window right there, right? He has got a great, very simple motion, but do I think he could make a few tweaks to maybe get a few more miles per hour like Joe Burrow did out of LSU to go to Cincinnati, like the long conversation I had with him? Yeah, I do, and I think it would serve him well, especially up here in the Northeast. Those are some of the negatives, but as you could tell, it's nitpicky. There's not a lot to talk about badly with Jayden Daniels.
I think I was reading somewhere he's gotten a little stronger, maybe a little weight room in the offseason here, bulk up, stay healthy.
He needs to. He needs that little, just a little bit of a frame, right?
Lions played Caleb Williams last year a couple of times. They played Jayden Daniels, of course, in the playoffs, and it was striking to me. It's just like how many winning plays Jayden Daniels would make. There were plays in the Bears. It's not all Caleb Williams, but it's just like, oh man, that would have hurt us. Thank God Caleb didn't make that play. Where with Jayden, it was just like he's
made it. Exactly. That's what I mean. It's just every time. It's really every time. That's what's incredible. I mean, it's only a handful the whole year where you're just like, oh man, the game in Philadelphia on a Thursday night, he missed that one throw late in the game on a third down. It's like, okay. It's like you can count them on one hand. That's what's incredible. So you talk about efficiency in the pass game and being incredibly accurate, not turning the ball over, and then you couple that with 900 yards rushing on top of that? Yeah, he's the offense. He carries them in a lot of ways. His abilities are what made them so dangerous without a lot of big-time top-end talent around him. A lot of good, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But as far as stars are concerned, it's Terry McLaurin, and then there was nobody else last year that you would put in the star category. And that speaks to, again, him, his skill set, what Cliff Kingsbury built around him there. And, yeah, the sky's the limit for this guy.
Yeah, they're going to hope that Deebo Samuel still has something to give.
Right.
It seemed like he wasn't quite himself in San Francisco, but he's over there now. They got Noah Brown. They got Terry McLaurin, of course, still. Laramie Tunsil. They got Nate Herbig on the offensive line, so trying to protect him a little bit more. And so there are some weapons. I think we have some video of him throwing some beautiful passes here in team OTAs.
Beautiful. Like we talked about, because I don't want to put Matthew Stafford's a little bit more gunslinger and all over the place at times. Oh, he's playing receiver here. I was going to say, did he switch his jersey?
What?
Yeah. He's just catching the ball. He's hanging out. He's got a good look there. I like that. But he, like C.J. Stroud and a Joe Burrow, have the ability, if they, like we've talked about with Trevor Lawrence, where I'd go, we could watch 10 out routes and he'll throw the out route 7 different ways, right? Mm-hmm. You could watch Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Jayden Daniels throw 10 out routes and they will look exactly the same, 10 in a row. And that's why they're machines. And that's what's special about him. And that's why he never misses the target, or it's never like, he didn't make the throw. He always makes it, right? My only thing is, let's see if we can maybe dig back and find a way to get a few more RPMs on the ball. But again, it's nitpicky for a guy right here. And maybe he doesn't need to. Maybe it's just a comfort thing to where now he's comfortable in year 2 and he just lets it fly a little bit more, right? But that would be the only thing. There's just certain games you'd go, he could have fit that in there. Or, if he just pushed the ball a little bit harder here, that ball wouldn't have got knocked down going down the middle. But that's, again, like I said, very nitpicky with a special talent.
He is into the top 5. He was
That's crazy.
28 last year. That was extremely disrespectful to one of the best rookie seasons that we have ever seen. You should have anticipated that.
Yeah, seriously.
All right.
I got a lot of crap for putting him at 28, I think.
I know. How can he be so high? All right, so we got to take one more break. That is all the way through number 5. We got the 4 remaining. A quick preview.
Core
4. A quick preview of that coming up next. And then there were 4. Here are the 4. You know them already. This is the order they were in last year. Mahomes 1, Josh Allen 2, Joe Burrow 3.
They will not be in that order this year.
What?
No, they will not.
Giving that away already.
Yeah, I'll tell you that. I know we got one more show to do, but that will not be the order this year. things are going to change at the top 4, but it's still the top 4. Now, there's some guys here, as we could see, right? Hey, Jayden Daniels, Stroud, C.J. Stroud, Justin Herbert. To me, they have the type of talent of guys that could maybe infiltrate the top 4, right? Those are the type of guys that I would look at here. But right now, the top 4, Jackson, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, that crew right there that you see, I just would go, man, you'd have a hard time in the history of football finding 4 quarterbacks in the league at the same time playing as high-level football as they are. And that's how awesome they are.
They are also good. You're unique in how they do it, but they're also uniquely good that they're all in the same tier for you.
Yes, they are.
Elite tier.
Elite tier. This is the group, and like I think I said this to you last week. Maybe I said it to Florio, but this is Elway, Marino, Jim Kelly, Montana. I mean, this is what we're talking about. It's this kind of group of guys right now. This is a special group. And just like those times, people were like, well, I don't know about Elway or Marino. They can't win the Super Bowl. And it's like, no, we know. Stop putting the whole team on one guy. They're awesome. Like you've heard me say, if Dan Marino played on the Giants, they would have won a Super Bowl, okay? All right. As much as I love my dad, he's the man and all of that. It's a team sport. These 4 are special. We'll break them down next pod.
Let's do it. So you want to end this pod like we always do, and then we'll just come back with the other pod tomorrow?
Okay, sounds good.
Great seeing you.
You need to change your clothes, though. All right?
I'll go home.
Make sure you do that.
Put on the same hoodie, though.
All right. You got it. We'll be back tomorrow. It's the Core 4. They're coming. All right? Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Thanks to Ahmed Fareed. We'll see you. Clap it up,
clap
homies.
it up.
Peace
Yes.
out. Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Chris Simms Unbuttoned. And just because the weather's warm doesn't mean football ain't still on our brains right here.
We are still working, so smash that subscribe button. We got all the training camp news, preseason news, everything up until kickoff night.
Thanks for watching. And again, remember to hit that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.